Hey everybody! Welcome to ABA Inside Track, the podcast that's like reading in your car, but safer. I'm your host, Robert Perry Cruz, and with me as always are my fabulous co-hosts.
It's me, Diana!
Happy Halloween
Happy
to everyone out there.
Halloween!
Although you are watching this either the last week of September, if you're a Patreon subscriber, or the first week in October, if you're getting this on the free feed.
It's never
so
too early.
We're a little early.
Yeah, I'm ready to celebrate.
You look ready to celebrate.
I'm wearing a Mario hat in case that didn't come through.
It came through. It was very
okay.
clear. Very clear. I originally had a different costume, but it was not as flattering as this. So, ta-da!
You're like a unicorn.
I'm a real brony.
Princess unicorn.
I'm a princess unicorn. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Well, welcome to our preview for October 2022, talking about what's coming up on ABA Inside Track this month, the podcast all about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research. And in this preview, we're going to talk about what we'll be discussing every week in the field. We'll be talking about the articles we'll be reading and the topics we'll be discussing and all the other good stuff to come. Now, longtime listeners might notice that Jackie is not here. Unfortunately, she had a prior engagement and we weren't able to reschedule. So it's just us looking silly today. So October is a fun month. I think we're a big fall family here on the Inside Track. We like fall activities. And we just finished up our supervision September. So if anyone out there is saying, man, October's nice, but I sure wish I had my supervision CEs. Well, go back last month. We got a ton of stuff for you. We had our Crucial Conversations book club. We had the PDCHS. Lots of goodies. This month, we're going to switch to a little bit more of a variety of topics, but all things that we were very, very excited to talk about. And we hope you will be excited to listen to. What will we be discussing this month?
Okay, well, we have 3 full-length episodes that we have prepared for you for the month of October, and I am now going to tell you exactly what those are. The first one, actually, Rob, this month we have 2 episodes with guests, and both of those episodes have 2 guests.
Yes.
So it's a lot of guests.
A lot of guests.
Guests is how you say that word, more specifically.
What if they own something? You're talking about like your guest's, I don't know, chair or microphone.
Right. That's my guest's microphone.
Okay, that
makes
sense.
That's how you say that.
Good.
So our first episode that features 2 guests is on the topic of ABA and literacy. And this is an awesome topic. It was so fun to listen to them talk about this and to think about how we can apply what we know about the science of learning to this arena. And it's not something that I had thought about too much before. So there's a lot of good content here. And there are, 4 different articles that we contacted during this conversation.
I looked surprised, but I already read them and we already actually recorded that episode. So
yes.
Shouldn't be surprised.
Before I tell you the articles, I should tell you that we had Dr. Denise Ross-Page and Dr. Douglas Greer on to talk about this topic. And the articles were largely from them and their research groups. The first was the effect of the establishment of conditioned reinforcement for reading content on second graders' reading achievement. That was by Gentilini and Greer, published in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2021. These are in no particular order. Culturally Relevant Pedagogy and Applied Behavior Analysis Addressing Educational Disparities in PK to 12 Schools by Hugh Penny, Hernandez, Ueyo, Johnson, and Ross. That was in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2021. A book chapter for a forthcoming book called When Text Speaks. And the title of the chapter is Introduction to a Strategic Science of Teaching. That was by Ross-Page and Greer.
Is that the sequel to Where the Crawdads Sing?
I don't think so. Where Text Speaks.
Where Text Speaks. Coming soon to a theater near you.
And then finally, Double Jeopardy, How Third Grade Reading Skills and Poverty Influence High School Education. That's by Hernandez, and it was a publication from the Annie E. Casey Foundation. Is that how we cite that?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so.
I thought so, but just checking. So that's our topic number 1. Topic number 2 is an episode with just the 3 of us. And we wanted to approach the topic of facilitated communication and the research that has been done, and there's a lot of it out there, debunking this phenomenon that continues to exist.
Yes, if you thought we were going to do an episode talking about how great facilitated communication is, and you heard us saying facilitated communication, they're not going to talk about how that and iterate that. No. It's a review of the research.
Never going to do that.
We're not going to do that.
But it is an important topic to discuss and continue to shed light on, because we do continue to see references to it kind of all over the place. So again, 4 articles. The first is Facilitated Communication, a Failure to Replicate the Phenomenon, by Eberlin, McConaughey, Eibel, and Volpe, and that was in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders, 1993. Next, an experimental analysis of facilitated communication by Monti, Miltenberger, and Whitrock. That was in JABA, 1995. Then we go forwards in time and look at evaluation of word recognition following typing produced through facilitated communication by Roan, Katie, and Sullivan. That was also in JABA 2019. And finally, let me make sure I get this one right. Facilitated Communication Denies People with Disabilities Their Voice by Travers, Tincani, and Lang. That was published in Research and Practice for Persons with Severe Disabilities from 2014. So that was topic number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, to wrap up the month, we had actually the most guests we've ever had, the most people we've ever had on an episode for this last episode here. And we wanted to discuss the call to action paper related to the Rikers and Lovaas article, and then responses to it that have come out recently. So we had 2 of the authors from some of those recent papers on, Dr. Sarah Campau and Dr. Matthew Capriotti. We were also joined by our book club host, Alan Haberman. He was here for this episode as well. So we actually have 6 different people here to talk about this extremely important topic. So I'm going to tell you the articles that were referenced there. First one is Behavioral Treatment of Deviant Sexual Behaviors in a Male Child by Rikers and Lovaas, Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, 1974. Then we had Editor's Note, Societal Changes and Expression of Concern about Rikers and Lovaas, Behavioral Treatment of Deviant Sexual Behaviors in a Male Child. That was published by Sayab and LeBlanc in JABA 2020. And then we had LGBTQ plus Conversion Therapy and Applied Behavior Analysis, A Call to Action by Conine, Campo, and Petronelli. That was in JABA 2022. And finally, Why Don't Behavior Analysts Do Something? Behavior Analysts' Historical, Present, and Potential Future Actions on Sexual and Gender Minority Issues by Capriotti and Donaldson, also in JABA, also in 2022. And that rounds out the episodes that we have for October.
Excellent. So we've got 3 big episodes coming up.
All good, really good topics, in my opinion.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, so that with the episodes out of the way, let's move into errata. This is the section of the show where we discuss everything else that's kind of going on or that we're kind of thinking about these days. I think the big thing in October to pay attention to is we're going to have a couple conferences, certainly the Babbitt Conference, which sadly we're not able to attend this year, but hopefully you are all planning to go, and that's going to be in Worcester, scenic Worcester, Mass, with all its fancy restaurants. Yes, that's...
Yep, October 12th through 14th.
Mm-hmm.
That's when that's happening.
But we won't be there because, unfortunately, our 2 October conferences are happening almost exactly the same time. So we will be out at the Thompson Center, who've graciously invited us back for the 4th time? 5th time?
I actually lost track, but I think 5th,
Oh, man.
Sure. Yeah, so we're not sad to be going because it's an amazing conference and we're super excited to be there. And it's in St. Louis. It's October 13th and 14th. We will be speaking about quality of life goal selection, and it always promises to be a really good time with a lot of really fantastic speakers. Peter Mundy's going to be there. I'm very excited to hear him. So if you're in that area and you want to come visit us, please do.
Yes, please come out. And hopefully we'll be able to do our poster session reviews, which we've done in the past, because we haven't actually gotten to go to very many conferences in the last 2 years. So some people might forget we do those.
There's a virtual one happening too, the Stone Soup Conference.
Oh,
That's
yes.
the next weekend, 10/21. And we're going to be attending that one. And I'm also really excited. They have a great lineup as well.
So October is always a busy conference month. I think
Yeah,
there's some
it's
other
like
ones
very
too.
Oh yeah, very popular.
I went
conference.
to last year. I made a list of all the conferences in the world, in the country, in the United States of America, and there were a lot of them, and a lot of them happened in the fall. But I apologize, I didn't look at my list before we got here. So I'm sure there's some other ones in your neck of the woods. And if you're not going to conferences, well, find a chance to at least go to one every now and again. I know they can be a little pricey. Maybe go to the one that we're at so you can say hi and get a free sticker or something. What are the free things? Donna, you were just telling me you got some little merch.
I did.
Items.
I got buttons. I got bookmarks.
Oh,
we have stickers.
that's enough of that.
Oh my. Yeah.
Good. So if you see us, come by.
Things will be there, as will we.
And get some freebies. Come to our talk as well. So that is the October kind of conference news. I think looking at some upcoming podcast things, some people know that we have a Patreon page, which is just sort of like a little way to do some extras, do some extra things. You know, we're always playing around with kind of ideas of what we want to do. And the two that we've definitely stuck to, there's always room for more. We're always looking for more feedback about something else fun we could do. But our voting on episodes and doing the live episodes and our book clubs. So we're going to have our book club schedule hopefully pretty soon. We have to get together and go through our times. So we won't have any till we did our fall book club. So we'll have a winter book club. So still a few months away. But we will be having a fall live recorded episode. Who knows? Those might actually turn out to be live in real life at some point, but not quite yet. For right now, we're going to be doing a live Zoom episode where people can come in, watch the recording, ask questions afterwards, make noise, all sorts of fun stuff. So we're going to have a poll up on the Patreon page, probably in the next, for patrons, probably won't see this for another week or two, so that we have time to make sure that we have a good final list. We have a few ideas, but we want to make sure that all three of us can be here for them. And then we'll put that up. So if you say, I'd love to vote on an ABA Inside Track episode, well, patreon.com/ABA Inside Track, just starting at the $3 level, you're able to vote on those.
You think we're doing a bad job picking topics? You can take over.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, if people want to just tell us the 3 topics they want to vote on too, we'd be cool with that. A little break from picking topics after 200 plus episodes.
Some people actually do write in quite a bit and suggest topics, and we write them all down and then pull from them. So please keep doing that.
Yes, I'm still surprised we have a list as long as the one we have. So that's good. Keep them coming, folks. So that'll be coming out this in the next week or two. If you're listening on the free feed, it probably will be out by now. Maybe a couple more days after this. So keep an eye out for that. I wanted to do a follow-up. Usually we do kind of some emails.
I have a couple of things.
Oh, you do have a couple you wanted to mention?
Yeah, but you can go ahead.
I'll go first. I did want to say, I did not write into the show because it's, our show, but I did want to follow up on our episode 208 on functional behavior assessments in school. I have been looking into that research. The school season has started for me, so I really was excited by an article that we did on that episode. It's been a little while now. We've done a couple episodes since, so let me just double check. Yes, it was the Kestner et al. Episode that was in Behavior Analysis and Practice 2018. It was recommended actually by our former guest, our guest and buddy, Dr. Cody Morris.
Once you're a guest, you're always a guest.
You're always a guest.
Yeah.
When you're a guest all the way. But he had recommended this, and it was an article on looking at baseline conditions in a classroom. So rather than just assuming that the child who may be engaging in problem behavior, it's all their fault, it's some sort of attention or escape function. Well, is there enough reinforcement in the environment to actually maintain appropriate levels of responding to begin with? And once he suggested looking at this article, I read it 2 or 3 times, even since we did the episode, and decided I want to start looking at baseline conditions. So I have been using a modified version of the form that Kestner and colleagues put linked to the article, and found a couple other forms that sort of ask questions about classroom environment that I thought were also relevant, maybe if you wanted to use it as part of your functional behavior assessment. So I've been very excited to be kind of doing some little practical field work using some of the research. Thought of some questions that didn't come up in the article, so I have to reach out to Kestner and colleagues to say if they had thought of that, or if they have a more in the works coming up. But yes, very excited to be working on that. I think one of the big ones is opportunities to respond is so important in a classroom, as we talked about. But how do you measure opportunities to respond with older students who might be doing independent work? When you think about it, you could have an unlimited number of opportunities to respond if you're, say, writing a dissertation, but you could also have 0 opportunities to respond if you're writing a dissertation, because you could take a nap or start Googling something else while you're trying to type away on your laptop. So how might that be captured for, say, older students if you were trying to look at classroom environments in that respect? So that was just kind of one of the questions I had. So again, it's always a lot of fun to think about the research that we discuss, and sometimes we even get to use it ourselves and replicate and ask other big questions. Again, one of the reasons we love doing this show, asking questions, learning more, and then hearing other people's thoughts on the matter. So that was just something I thought was fun.
Okay. Great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Related to episode 208, we did have a listener write in to ask, why did I apparently at the end of the episode say that ABC data are useless? I am sorry if we got
that sounds like something I would say.
I know, if I got too much on a roll, but the larger context of that episode was that the descriptive data alone are not going to give you what you need if you're looking to determine the function. However, they can be quite useful in pointing you toward what potential functions of behavior might be, and then you can follow that up with more specific / experimental analysis. So if I said that they were useless, I was probably just on a roll talking about having a big old pile of ABC data that someone had put in a drawer and then no one ever actually analyzed, right? But more so, using descriptive data alone rather than using them to contextualize further assessment is not the best use of them.
Wow.
So I apologize.
How could you?
I know. And then I have 2 more points that brought up. One is from a listener who wrote to us on Twitter, which we don't get a lot of those.
No, we do not.
So that was kind of nice, but they wanted to let us know that the word errata does not mean miscellany, right? Because it means something that was wrong. And I did write back to them and say, yeah, originally we had planned for this segment to be things that we had done wrong, but luckily we don't have one every episode.
We've never gotten anything wrong.
No, sometimes we do, but not every single episode. So then we sort of said, oh, well, in this section, we'll, anything that we got wrong, we'll correct. And then we also add in other points that we want to talk about or emails, and it kind of became like a miscellany section. So we do recognize that we're not using the word errata correctly. We thought it was a cute word because it had the word rat in it. Was kind of like the origin of that. But if someone's only joined us and listening recently and didn't listen for the entire 6 years, then they may have missed that transition. So we probably should occasionally point out that we know that errata doesn't mean miscellany.
It's hard to remember the backstory from probably the second preview we ever did. What, 2016 or something?
Yeah. So anyway, we know, and we are definitely using it wrong, and then we have to errata the errata, which is what I'm doing right now.
Exactly.
So I recognize that was an error, and thank you for pointing that out. And then the final thing I'm going to bring up is I get a fair amount of emails from people who cannot find how to order episodes after number 195. This is because we ran out of room on the original order page where it says get CEUs, and then it lists like the first 200 episodes, right? Plus the 5. There's 5 random like book clubs or something in there, I guess. We ran out of room on that page. Squarespace only lets you put 200 things on a page, I guess. And so then we had to make a second page. So if you go to Get CEUs button and you click it, and then it will say Get CEUs episodes 1 through 195, and then Get CEUs episodes 195 plus. If you are looking to order an episode after 195, you need to click that second button that's right there.
Yes.
And then it will take you to
We also always link, so if you're looking for recent CEs, those are always on our front page. And from those, you can always link directly to the CE purchase page. And if you're listening in your podcast player, just scroll through where they're just still in order. Apple Podcasts has never capped how many we can have. And you just click the link at the bottom of the notes section. Usually most of your podcast players, you scroll side to side, you can get the notes or the settings. And if you scroll down on the notes, there will be click here, and that link should always work. I haven't tested it in every player, but it's worked in the 2 that I've used, or I use. So you should be able to link there as well. So a lot of ways you can get there.
Multiple ways They're also on the website. You can go to the episode itself and then click Get CUs from there, or you can go to the Get CUs button and go from there.
Yeah. It's not ideal. We're doing a couple website website design things.
I've
so
created a monster.
that is one of the ones that we would like to fix. Although realistically, the best we'd be able to do is make it 1 to 200 and then move the book clubs to a separate page, which would also break a lot of links. So it's, web design, it's not what we got into behavior analysis for, folks. We're really sorry. We try our best. We know the organism is always right. So we try to give you a lot of ways you can access it.
Yeah. But I will always help you if you email me as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Diana. And thanks to everyone who wrote in or wrote to us on social media. And speaking of writing to us on social media, if you're interested, we'd love to hear from you out on all the socials. We're on most of the main ones. We're on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter as ABA Inside Track. You can certainly just send us an email at abainsidetrack@gmail.com. Our website's abainsidetrack.com, where you can find links to episodes 1 to 194 and then 194 or 195 on, as well as links to all of our other things, purchase CEs, who are our guests, contact information. And if you want even more ABA Inside Track content, then as we mentioned before, you can subscribe at patreon.com/ABA Inside Track for just $3 a month to get access to our voting and to get the episodes a week ahead of time, $5 to get a free CE for going to those live episodes. And if you want to join the premium tier, you can get all of our book club episodes ahead of time, and you can get 2 free CEs for each of those book clubs. We're also looking at some other fun bonuses, but speaking of web design, trying to navigate the Patreon page is something I'm still learning to do. We'll have more news on that, I think, in the near future.
You want a spooky bat?
No, thank you. I don't care for those. They are low on the preference assessment gradient.
There's also spooky cats.
No, thank you. Appreciate it, though.
Fair enough.
All right, we'll be back next week with the first of our full-length October episodes. But until then, keep responding. Bye!
Bye.